Afternoon. Welcome to Resource Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Welcome to the new subscribers. Please continue to like, share, and ring that bell and notification and do whatever we got to do to keep this channel growing. I certainly do appreciate you. Well, another liberal Democrat has just conducted an interview and is advocating war with Syria. In a Forbes Breaking News interview on YouTube, that's the title, he can only be stopped with power. And that's the quote unquote from Congressman Steve Cohen, a liberal Democrat from Tennessee. And this guy's a real piece of work. He is one of the most hateful. He's right up there with Chris Coons as far as being a vile, hateful person. And I mean, he's at the top of the list of being absolutely just a horrendous human being. He's not good at all. But under the interview titled, "He Can Only Be Stopped with Power," under Forbes Breaking News for 2022, he wants a red line set up in Ukraine. And as an example, he used Odessa, and he says, we're going to set up a red line of enforcement that Russia can't go into or bomb or do anything in Ukraine and evacuate people or reinforce people and everything else like that. And if Russia violates that red line, he openly advocates attacking the ships, Russian ships in the Black Sea. He says, we saw what the Ukrainians did with these Neptune missiles on a Russian warship. We could do the same thing with harpoons and cruise missiles. Now you think about that for a second. You have a congressman openly advocating war with Russia. For what reason? What national security interest do we have there other than seeing Russia fall? And then what? What happens if Russia falls? Then what? It's not going to become a democracy, I guarantee you. There are other oligarchs that are advising and supporting Putin that are just as much in authority as Putin is. It's not going to transition to a democracy. They have a tight grip on that. So you have this idiot that is advocating that the United States become more involved. And he says that directly. He's extremely disappointed in this administration. Oh, and by the way, to give you an idea of who this guy is, he introduced articles of impeachment against Trump numerous times. He believes that Trump tried to have a coup on January 6th and should be arrested and tried as a seditionist. He also believes that anyone that was there protesting on January 6th should rot in prison. So this man is an absolute bastion of hate against conservatives, and he makes no bones about it. He's also complaining that and we didn't learn our lesson pardon me, from Syria. We should have had boots on the ground in Syria to fight Russia then. What is it with these Democrats that want war with Russia? What is it with these people? They are egging it on because they are worried about, and he states this later on in the interview, that he is very concerned about losing the House and Senate and that nothing will get done to prevent the war, and the Russian people that are in collusion with in the Senate and the House are Russian agents. He still believes that the Trump dossier, the phony dossier, is real, and he believes that Trump is an agent of Russia. That's how stupid this guy is. He says that Obama should have done more in Syria at the time instead of drawing red lines there. He believes we should have had boots on the ground there. By the way, that was Biden. America needs to step up and defend Ukraine even more, get more weaponry, more advanced weaponry in there. He says we should get fighter jets to them. He doesn't care who delivers it to them. But we should have fighter jets in there. We should have advanced offensive weaponry in there and wipe out the Russians. Now, he didn't say that, but that's the indication there. And he also blames the intelligence agencies in this interview for failure on the Russian invasion. And he says that they didn't have all the facts correct and they were wrong about when they were going to invade and how long when Kiev is going to fall and everything else. And he says that they were behind the information curve. Yet, when he is citing Trump for impeachment, he absolutely says the intelligence agency shows that Trump is a Russian agent. You can't have it both ways. He also claims later on in the same interview that President Biden outright won the election overwhelmingly, that Trump is an insurrectionist and should be arrested. The January 6th protesters should rot in prison. He didn't say rot in prison, but he believes that lengthy prison terms are accurate for all of those people there. And that if Trump runs again, if he's allowed to run again and wins it, it is by theft of the election, and he would steal the election if he becomes president again, and this country would go downhill after that, essentially. So you have a liberal Democrat acknowledging that the Democrats are quite possibly going to lose the House and Senate. He wants to have a war with Russia now, and he believes that Trump should be arrested for treason and sedition and everything else. So what is it with the Democrats wanting to have a war with Russia? They don't think Russia is a nuclear power that can strike back at us? I don't know. I really don't know their thinking, other than they are definitely afraid of losing power, and they truly believe that war is the only way they can retain their seats. The White House, the Congress, and the Senate is through war with Russia, no matter what happens to us here. Please watch that interview if you are at all interested. It is titled "He Can Only Be Stopped with Power" by Steve Cohen, a liberal Democrat from Tennessee. It's on Forbes Breaking News, dated 4/20/22. Keep prepping, folks. These idiots, these liberals, these hateful people are egging us on to fight with Russia. And if we oppose that, we are considered Russian agents, Putin sympathizers. That's how they play this game. No, I just don't want a war with a nuclear power and have everybody within 100 miles of me dead from nuclear radiation poisoning. Simple as that. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Please get yourself right with God. Get baptized. Greg out.